All right, bang to the bang. I don't like saying it like that. Bang, bang. Much better.
That's better.
Right. There we go. Take a sip of that tea. All right, here we go. We are going to be going wide receivers and some tight ends for you. Whew, man. There's a couple lower price guys I'm going to go after, so I'll let y'all take the easy route. Dustin, let's get you starting with us. What do you like at wide receiver here this week?
So for those of you that watched the wide receiver video of the week, I loved Mr. Kenny Galladay, and I'm going back to him this week. He didn't necessarily, he disappointed me personally. He's still almost 3X. He was right there on the 3X line. But very limited opportunities because Detroit just had a weird game where Peterson rushed for a touchdown, Swift rushed for 2 touchdowns type of deal. So he surpassed 100 yards receiving, and he's in a smash spot going up against the vaunted Atlanta defense. And so they've been shredded by everybody. Last week we saw Cousins. He came alive in the second half, and Jefferson and Thielen caught 3 touchdowns on him. So Galladay's obviously the king on that team as far as receivers go. He's going to see the target share. He's big. He's physical. He was dynamic last week. He just didn't catch a touchdown. So, like I said, he's on his final year of his rookie contract. He has so many incentives to do really well this year. And in a bang smash spot like Atlanta, I just think he's gonna go crazy this week. So I like going back to the well and Kenny Galladay, and he's gonna more than pay off. And he didn't go up that much in price. So the other guy I'm looking at, which is really weird that he's this cheap. Me and Price were talking before this. CeeDee Lamb is more expensive than Tyreek Hill, right? Which is just kind of weird. Tyreek's got a touchdown in every game but one. He had a down week last week, but going up against Denver, he does have a plus matchup going up against the cornerback there. He's a big play threat, right? The Chiefs lost again last week. They're going to want to come out and put the foot on the throat. So I think they will look Tyreek's way. I think they'll take some shots. And I think he's going to have one of those monster games we've seen him have the last 2 years. So, he might have 4 catches for 160 yards or something crazy.
Who did they lose to?
Who did they lose to?
They didn't. They won.
Who'd they win?
They beat the Bills on Monday at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, I was still working. For some reason, I thought they lost.
No, they won like 23-17.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me just keep talking about that before y'all even say anything.
I have to stay on brand for my personality.
I went and personally looked it up myself because I was like, did they actually lose? Am I an idiot here? I'm like, no, it's Dustin being Dustin.
It doesn't change the narrative though. The dude is gonna smash. It's a good spot.
Yeah, because they lost last week, so they're really excited to get out back to the field and have explosions.
He only had 3 catches.
All right, talk about Tyreek can pull what Julio did last week, right? Julio was way underpriced, had low ownership, and smashed. And Tyreek Hill kind of has that same feel for him this week, especially coming off a terrible loss last week, right, Dustin?
Is this a no-cut event?
All right. So I got a couple of little cheapies for you. The one that stands out the most that is on an automatic play in my book is a guy that has had at least 10 targets every single game for the first 6 weeks minus the couple weeks he missed. And last week came off 13 targets with 7 receptions, but he only had 48 yards. And this is Crowder from the New York Jets. He's in a spot where the Bills are most likely going to get up pretty big, and he is garnering 95% of the snap share last week and 98 from week 1, 94% from week 4. He's running 45 to 50 routes a game. He's going to get, I would say, 13 to 15 targets. Now, he might just get 7 catches for 40 yards, and that will pay off. But he could always take one to the crib or get a touchdown out of it. So I think he has a very high floor, a very good cash play, and he is priced. Let me look here. Was it 5,900?
5,900, yeah.
5,900. So I would love him even more at 5,600, but
the thing with him is he's actually had the yardage for most of the year.
This was the first game he didn't have a decent yardage.
Yeah. And so, I mean, Flacco was.
Miami's defense is pretty good too.
How long is Darnold out this year? Is he just seeing ghosts again?
I don't know.
And then the cornerback matchup is the cornerback he's going against Johnson here, ranked 117th in our models here. So he's in a very plus matchup there. So that's the given play that's not, I would say, controversial. Another one that could be controversial, we're going to go down in price even further to 5,300, playing against the Browns, who we said could be a very good defense to play because the Cincinnati's offensive line is the worst in the league. Burrow is a great rookie quarterback, and he loves his 6'4", big stud receiver, T. Higgins from Clemson University, who did really good against Alabama in the championship game a couple years ago. But it says that Denzel Ward is going to be on him. However, AJ Green had a good week last week, right? So in a lot of, I think ownership is not going to be there at all for him. I think this is much more of a GPP play, but I love his price point and I like him this week. I really do. Last week he had 6 receptions, 125 yards, no touchdown, 90 air yards, pretty good 8 targets, and he's getting on the field. He started the year at 60%, fell down to like 55%. Now he's above 83% from last week. So he's running the routes. He's out there, and Joey Burrow is going to feed him the rock. And this is my GPP play. Do not like him in cash, but for GPP, Higgins from Clemson, go Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, Denzel's only 5'11", so he does have the height, and they seem to have been chunking the ball deep to Higgins. So it just takes one bomb, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He had it last week and got tackled at the freaking 1 yard line.
Yeah, I know. Because we were on him last week, and he still paid off, but it's like, oh man, so close. Just get in. Who do you like, Price?
All right. So Chris touched on him about how he was underpriced last week. I'm going to go back to Julio again. Julio made me $1,500 last week. I played him in 90% of my lineups, and he balled out. He looked fantastic. He's healthy. He goes up against some dude named Amani Anuwari. Whoever that is on the line is about to get roasted by Julio. I mean, he's always been physically dominant. I mean, he ran like a 4.3 40 on a broken foot. He's big. He's strong. He's just a beast. And there's no reason he's not going to smash again this week. He probably has the highest ceiling of anybody on this slate.
I think Julio's like DJ of golf. Like
whenever it's clicking, like he's going to outperform everybody.
Yeah, when he's off, it's like, damn, this guy's what's wrong?
Yeah.
Then my other play is going to be F1, Terry McLaurin.
Love it.
He is in a smash spot against the shitty Dallas defense who can't stop anybody. He might even make Kyle Allen look like a real NFL quarterback.
Yeah, what's worse, the Cowboys defense or the quarterback throwing to Terry McLaurin?
Oh, for sure the Cowboys defense.
Hey,
but he's going to get 10 targets. No one can cover him on that team. No one. He's in a great matchup. It's just like there's no way he doesn't pay off, and he's 5,800.
Yeah. Crowder and Terry is a great start for receivers, in my opinion, this week.
Especially for cash.
Hey,
yes.
Exactly.
Hey, you're learning.
Hey, it's like we're best friends or something.
Whoa. Only 30 years.
The only way, and it happened, that's the reason I say the only way is if Alex Smith comes in again because Kyle Allen gets hurt. But other than that, McLaurin is going to.
Who else he has to throw to? It's him and Logan Thomas and
Alex Smith, dude. Did
Logan
you watch
Thomas is dead to me.
Name someone that they'll throw the ball to that's not J.D. McKissick besides Logan Thomas and Terry McLaurin.
Gibson.
Well, if you're Alex Smith, you're throwing to McKissick and Gibson. That's it.
And that's because they don't have any other receivers.
Well, Alex Smith can't probably throw the ball. You know, I'm proud of his comeback story. 5 yards down the field.
I think they actually have Dontrell Inman as a receiver.
Oof, that's pretty rough. All right.
What? Hey, how is CeeDee Lamb 6,500? How is he more than Tyreek Hill?
How is Calvin more expensive than Julio? There's a lot of like, what?
The red.
So DraftKings is heavy on air yards. I guess that's.
Dude, the Red Rocket is throwing to CD. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't Dak back there.
Yeah, Dak's like, pay me that $40 million after watching that last week.
I really want to play Stephon Diggs this week at 7K, but God, Josh Allen looked lost last week, just completely lost.
Well, it's the Jets. That's what scares me. Is like they can't score.
And then we were talking about it. If Keenan Allen's out, I think Mike Williams is a must play at 4,700
for sure. In my tight end that I'm about to talk about.
Because if you're not going to use Justin Jackson, and you expect the Chargers are going to score against the Jaguars, if Keenan's out, Mike Williams balled out last week. He's a great deep field or down the field threat. He's a huge body who they don't have anyone who can cover him. I think it'd be a fantastic play.
What about a fade? Would you say you could safely fade Devontae Adams again this week after that dud? Do you think
he plays Houston? My Texans
might score 49 points, so everybody might eat.
So who do you think is a better play this week, Aaron Jones or Adams?
I honestly think you can play both Aaron's and Devontae, and they're all going to eat.
I think
Houston's
you can play them
bad.
and not stack the quarterback even, and pick one of a solo quarterback like a Cam Newton or the likes of that, or I don't know who you want to play solo, but
I think he's not like super high priced. He's 5,500, but DJ Chark has not. Him and Juju have been awful this year. I don't understand why you would click them. But the only one we talked about fading, the Arizona-Seattle game, just because of ownership, you can't really stack it. And I mean, everyone's going to go to that game. Everyone's going to click those names because it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, personally, I don't like Michael Thomas. I mean, week one, he had 5 targets, you know? He's kind of been a diva since he got it paid. Obviously, we know what happened last week. So for me, I'm like, man, I ain't touching him until I see it happen again, just because of the off the field type stuff and the showing week one. You know, I just can't trust it for 8,000 or 7,900 or 7,600, whatever he is.
Yep.
Especially with all the other matchups that are out there this week for guys that are lower. I mean, you tell me a Ridley or Metcalf, Julio.
What about another fade that a lot of people have been on the last 2 weeks, and I love his profile. Chase Claypool. 6'4", runs a 4.40, has amazing burst, 99th percentile speed score, 92nd on burst, gets goal line carries, but he only ran 22 routes last week. He
only has one game over 4 targets.
Yeah, he had 4 targets last week, and he isn't running a ton of routes. I don't know.
I think it's a trap with him.
I think it's a big trap.
Remember how Ben, when he had Holmes, locked in on Antonio Brown. Then when he had Brown, he locked in on Juju. And then he's locked in on Deontay the last year. So if Ben likes you, he's going to throw you the ball. So if Deontay Johnson's out, it's up in the air. But in theory, you're right. He's priced too high.
He's priced too high.
It's like
He did get tackled on the one again.
Can I say it's like Madsen?
no, because it's
Okay.
not the same. I
No,
would
it's
say it's
not.
more like a dude in basketball who's just shooting lights out from three. Like eventually regression comes. It catches up to you. And that's gonna happen to Claypool.
Yeah.
Well, especially I look at it this way too: is he wasn't starting before Deontay got his injuries, so there's a reason. I mean, obviously everybody in the NFL is super uber talented, but there's a reason they don't start usually. I mean, sometimes it takes a little, confidence or learning, the playbook or whatever. But I think time will tell. But
And he had less targets than James Washington, who's 1,500 cheaper.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the tight ends. But before we do, little sponsor, right? From DFS Dads, of course. Exactly. Go to dfsdads.com. Like this video for the YouTube algorithm. Man, Price got all the swag back there. You got to start doing a giveaway to our subs. Sub for free on the YouTube channel. We're posting all sorts of awesome content for you. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know some of the new formats that we're coming out with. Do you like this type of content? What could we bring to you to show more value that you would, some value add that you would want? Once again, also, we give out our picks. We give out some picks on both Facebook and Twitter for the different showdowns. And if we hit the like goal, we give out our whole core. So the DFS Dads on both Facebook and Twitter. Let's get to some fire tight end picks. I personally, TJ Hawkinson, I've had in my season log. All he does is score touchdowns, 1-yard touchdowns in the red zone. And for one of the stacks I'm going to definitely have Stafford, Matthew Stafford. I think you could do a Galladay, Stafford, and TJ stack.
Ooh. We'll get into that next.
Or if you just want to do the Galladay and Stafford, you can run it back against the other tight end, Hurst. So those are a couple tight ends that I'm.
It's a good game to target. And those will be two of the lower owned pieces in that game. Yeah,
for sure. And that's what happened last week, right? You went to Julio was the lower end on ownership.
Yes.
Smashed.
Destroyed it.
Madsen was super chalky. Dud. But who was it that smashed for them? Jefferson, right? You didn't go Thielen. A lot of people might want Madsen and Thielen. And Jefferson was the complete stud. So
I believe he was my flex play in my GPP core as well.
Oh, don't show off. Stop showing off. And how much money did you make last week?
I made 1,500. Good week.
Dustin would have made thousands upon thousands if he entered in the contest, but he just.
As they said in that movie Major League, you have no marbles.
He didn't believe it.
Two mistakes, right? Is at the 11th hour, 12th hour, whatever's dubbed. I changed from Henry and Higgins to Rojo and Galladay, which isn't terrible. But when you're talking about these, I mean, that's 20 points, and I also entered the millie. I never entered the millie because it's terrible. You got terrible payouts. And I entered it. And Price won, what'd you win? 7 times what I won on less money.
On a lineup that I played $14.85 on.
Same score, just about. I think we're like 0.3 points off. So that goes to tell you, a lot of it depends on what tournament you play.
Contest selection is key.
Yeah.
Don't be like this guy.
Yeah. So if you don't know, it still hurts them. Still a sore subject.
But you know what's not a sore subject anymore? Robert Tonyan.
No, it's a sore subject.
He played for us week 1 at 2,500, and now he's 4,600, and he will be the lowest owned piece of the Green Bay attack on offense against my terrible Houston.
He tweaked his ankle.
He came back in. He's fine.
All right.
He returned to this. You might not have seen him because Rodgers was so fucking awful.
No, I don't think Dustin will watch that game because he watched the Chiefs lose. That's the game he was targeting.
Yeah, I guess you were watching last week, 2 weeks ago, not last
He
week.
didn't practice today, so
I don't care. He's gonna suit up. He's gonna play. If not, I'll just play Anthony Ferkser. I'll go cheap. Johnny
It's been
Smith,
paying off.
he's banged up, and Ferkser balled out last
He wants
week.
some people some money.
Yes, sir.
And that's partly why I want to play Tanyan, because who did Ferkser ball out against? Houston, because we can't cover anybody.
Yeah, the tight end. Y'all do not do horrible against tight ends.
Good thing they paid Zach Cunningham $40 million to be our cover fucking linebacker.
Trey Burton was just a banging pick
Best.
we had last week.
We had
100% on Burton.
Everything.
DFS dads, Trey Burton last week. It was such a great call. Like that. Smash that like button for us for that call. All right, Dustin. Any other tight ends you want to throw in there? I don't know if.
Yeah, Hunter Henry.
Woo!
It's 7-8 targets for a tight end. Going up against Jacksonville, who should be able to score, and they're not great against the tight end. So I like Hunter Henry to pay off. He's pretty cheap, 4,500.
Facts.
I could easily see him going, 6 for 80 plus and a touchdown. So really like Henry in that spot. And I also like, if he's fully healthy, Noah Fant for Denver. Right. We have Sutton that went out. Obviously Jerry Jeudy and Patrick there in Denver, but Drew Lock likes Noah Fant. He's had a great year. He had a game with 10 targets. He has, about 5, 6, 7, 8 targets the other games. So if he's playing going up against KC, who should put up points, I just really like the comeback with, an athletic tight end that can. He's one of those that can hit the seam and take it to pay dirt. So
yeah,
a little expensive, 4,800, but if he's healthy, I think he can definitely pay off.
Another player to go to would be Schultz. Could be a player to go to. The one fade that I'm gonna have is Kittle going versus New England. I think that's an easy fade. Not necessarily easy, but it kind of is. New England does a good taking away one player, and I think that's who they're going to take away.
They took away Waller.
They sure did.
Yep, and that was a mistake on at least my part that week, playing as much Waller as I did. So that's going to wrap it up. Make some money, right? As Johnny Manziel would say.
We'll see y'all soon.
Peace.